What's up everyone, welcome back to another video. So today we're going to have a look at some teams that either have a really nice fixture run coming up or potentially players that we own that have a difficult fixture run coming up that we should potentially be looking to transfer out of our FPL teams. If you are enjoying all the videos, there's going to be more this week even though I'm on holiday. Do consider liking and of course subscribing to the channel. But let's get into the first one, which you can see of course is Brentford. So Brentford have been a team that have performed very well so far this season. Have been by far the best of those newly promoted teams in the Premier League, much better than Watford and much better than Norwich. Now, they've had some potentially difficult runs of fixtures where they have still got returns, but we haven't necessarily owned their assets very much, apart from Tony at the beginning of the season, and Mbeumo you might have had on your bench occasionally, but I think it is now time to really start considering owning some of these players and starting them in your team. So their upcoming run of fixtures they've got, game week 8 they played against Chelsea, and now game week 9 they have Leicester at home, then they followed by Burnley, Norwich, Newcastle from game week 10 to 12, which is really nice, before having Everton and Tottenham in game weeks 13 and 14. So this is a really nice fixture, and I think they've proven so far this season with that 3-3 draw against Liverpool and with some of those other results that they are capable of getting returns and getting results against pretty much any team that they're playing in the league because of how compact they are defensively, and that the way that Tony and Mbeumo link up when they go forward, they can score goals, but they are also okay defensively as well. So the three assets that we've got there to talk about, we've got Tony and Mbeumo, and then we've got the defensive option in Janssen. So I do think from an attacking point of view is where we should be focusing. If you have a forward spot, then Tony is great. If you have that midfielder spot, then Mbeumo is also good. Tony is slightly more expensive. He'll probably get more FPL returns. He's on penalties as well. But Mbeumo as a midfielder, he gets that extra point for a goal. If they keep a clean sheet, he gets that extra point in there as well. And he's just 5.5 million at the moment. So both really nice options and definitely should be worth considering. I think I'm going to be bringing Mbeumo into my team for this run of fixtures. I can't quite fit Tony in, so I will have to let him go for the time being, I think. But having one of those two up front for that run, particularly from game weeks 10 to 12, but Leicester haven't been that great defensively recently either. So all the way from game week 9 to game week 12, the budget option that they allow is really good. Now, the defensive option we've got here is Janssen. Now, they haven't been quite so good defensively, but some of their defenders really have attacking threat as well. So Janssen, I think, has only blanked in 3 game weeks so far this season, either from a clean sheet or from that attacking point of view as well. So he is only 4.6 million. It is a budget way into that defense. If you don't have maybe the money to go up to some of those more premium defenders that everyone is looking to buy at the moment, then maybe Janssen for this good run that they have between game week 9 and game week 12 is the option that we should go with. So Brentford is the first team who have a very nice run of fixtures, and I really think, particularly from an attacking point of view, we should be looking to get Tony or Mbeumo into our teams this week. Next up is Manchester United. Now, this is a difficult run of fixtures, so you can see in the red bar across the top. Liverpool at home in game week 9, Tottenham in game week 10, Man City, Watford, Chelsea, Arsenal. So this is an incredibly difficult run of fixtures all the way up to game week 14. Now, a lot of us are owning Ronaldo, Greenwood and Luke Shaw in our teams at the moment, and I do think now is finally the time to jump off them if you have not already. I own Mason Greenwood and I will be looking to sell him, and I think Greenwood to Mbeumo, like I just spoke about on the previous team, is definitely a transfer I'm looking to make. Luke Shaw, Manchester United haven't been keeping that many clean sheets. Varane and Maguire still potentially out. It means that their clean sheet potential goes down even further than it is at the moment. He isn't getting those attacking returns that we potentially saw from him. So with the likes of Chelsea, with the likes of Manchester City performing well, but also some of those cheaper defences having nice fixture runs, then I think it is also time to sell Luke Shaw. And finally, Cristiano Ronaldo. So I think Ronaldo's a difficult one. He has the capabilities of scoring against any team in the world, but it's just I don't see him being particularly explosive in this upcoming run of fixtures. Game week 9 sees Chelsea host Norwich at home, so Ronaldo to Lukaku definitely feels like a sensible transfer to make if you haven't made it already. But Manchester United do have a really tough run of fixtures from game week 9 to 14. It starts in about game week 7, but we could keep them for those 2 games. But now really is, I think, the time to jump off. You can go back to them later, but for now, this run is too difficult to be owning any of their assets. Next team with a nice fixture run is Crystal Palace. So they now have Newcastle, Manchester City in game week 10, slightly more difficult, but then Wolves, Burnley, Aston Villa, Leeds. So game week 9 to 14, excluding that game week 10 fixture, is definitely a nice run for them and worth considering some of their assets. Now, the three that I've pulled out here are all attackers. So we've got Zaha, Gallagher and Olise, all potentially flair players with good attacking returns. In their defence, the likes of Mitchell and Gaeta are okay to consider, but if I was making a transfer, I don't trust them enough defensively. They are much better going forward than they are defensively so far this season, so I really would be looking to maybe bring in an attacker before I brought in a defender for this week. Zaha is the main talisman for Crystal Palace. He has the main goal threat. He's on penalties for them as well. So he's more expensive than the other two, but probably if you can stretch up to him, will get the most attacking returns because of that sort of focal point of the attack. Everything goes through him and he's on penalties as well. However, Gallagher and Olise are cheaper, more budget options. Olise's probably got more flair and has the potential to really explode, but he's that bit more of a rotation risk than Gallagher, who looks like he'll play each and every week for Crystal Palace. He's on some set pieces, Gallagher. He's also very involved going forward with two defensive midfielders behind him. He's given that license to sort of free roam up the pitch, join in the attacks, join in as that creative force and get attacking returns as well, which we have seen from him so far this season. So Crystal Palace with a really nice run starting in game week 9 to game week 14. Some of their attacking assets, Gallagher in particular, is very nice. A lot of us are looking at rotation pairs, rotation options in our FPL team at the moment. So Gallagher is a really nice option and probably the one that I would consider owning if I had to pick one of those three Crystal Palace players. Next up, we have Brighton. Now, again, a team that we've owned highly so far this season, particularly from a defensive point of view, but I know some of you went for their attack in the likes of Mopé as well. Their game week 9 to 14 run, Man City and Liverpool in the next two notably, then Newcastle, Aston Villa, Leeds, followed by West Ham. So a difficult run of fixtures to say the least, particularly game weeks 9 and game week 10 where they play Manchester City and Liverpool, and then afterwards as well, it's not pleasant viewing then either. Now, a lot of us own their defenders in the likes of Sanchez and Duffy, and now if you own them, I wouldn't really be going and using your transfers on them unless you have a luxury of a spare transfer. You can bench Duffy, Sanchez can potentially pick up some save points, but I definitely wouldn't want to be owning or bringing in particularly any of the assets for this run of fixtures. I don't see many clean sheets for them over the next 6 game weeks. Now that they've played Norwich in game week 8, it is a really dreadful run. We owned them for the start of the season because of that fixture run they had for game weeks 1 to 8. So from game week 9 to 14, it definitely is more difficult for Brighton. And the other one is in attack, Mopé. Now, he's scored some goals, he's been okay, quite a good cheap asset, but as we saw with Tony on the first page, it's a really big fixture swing away from Brighton and into Brentford. So if you have Mopé in your team, Mopé to Tony feels like such a no-brainer of a transfer. It's definitely what I would be doing with Mopé if I had him in my team now. So that is Brighton, and that is the next team with a really difficult fixture run. Next up, we have Arsenal, who have a potentially good fixture run over the next few weeks, particularly from game weeks 9 to 13. So they play Aston Villa, Leicester, Watford, Newcastle in that, and then Liverpool away. They do have some really nice budget options that we could potentially go with. They played Crystal Palace in game week 8, so if you were going to go on Arsenal, maybe that was the time to do it, but they play on Monday night, so we don't quite know at time of recording exactly what's happened, but they do have some really nice options. White in defence along with Tomiyasu, very good cheap enablers, and they have looked good defensively. They have clean sheet potential and definitely worth owning if you are looking for a budget defender to own for over the duration of the season. From a defence like Arsenal, as they've shown over the past few weeks, it really is great that we have a 4.4 or 4.5 option from them. But a lot of the focus is going into their midfield with the likes of Saka and Smith Rowe. So they do have attacking threat. Now, it isn't always consistent. They aren't always, getting goals or assists, but it is the budget that they allow. So Smith Rowe under 5.5 million and Saka under 6.5 million. Really nice options, particularly as we spoke about. If you are rotating players into your team, then Saka and Smith Rowe are definitely two picks that I really like. They should be playing each and every week with no Europe for Arsenal, with no midweek fixtures to contend with. Saka and Smith Rowe have that week break, so there shouldn't be that much rotation in that Arsenal lineup, both in attack and then in that defence as well. The defence feels much more assured. They know who's going to start each and every week. It's White, it's Gabriel, it's Tomiyasu, and then it is Tierney at left back with Ramsdale in goal. So all of them are good picks, slightly different prices. I probably wouldn't go with Gabriel, but then in the midfield, Saka and Smith Rowe, the cheap options, but definitely the ones I think they're looking to develop are looking really good on form, and I would be considering bringing into my team. I almost brought Saka into my team this week. I didn't quite do it, but they are still firmly on my radar. Next up, we have West Ham. So again, a team that we have owned heavily so far this season, but now they have a difficult run of fixtures. Tottenham, Aston Villa, Liverpool, Wolves and Manchester City followed by Brighton in game week 14. Now that is not good. Not a single green fixture in the next 6 game weeks for West Ham. Now a lot of us own Benrahma, a lot of us own Antonio as well. Soufal maybe not because he's picked up an injury, but you should be looking to sell pretty much all of your West Ham assets except maybe Antonio. If you are looking to move Antonio on, that's fine. I think there are forwards over the next 6 weeks who could match him if you do have that luxury, potentially once Calvert-Lewin's back fit, or you could go to the likes of Jimenez as well, another option we could go with, but Benrahma particularly in that midfield. I don't know if we got a return in game week 8 at the time of recording, but he's only scored 1 goal in the previous 5 matches before that, so Benrahma to the likes of Mbeumo, to the likes of Saka is definitely a move that I would be considering making. That run of fixtures isn't good enough. And from a defensive point of view, if you do own Cresswell, if you do own Soufal, again, it is time to move them on. This fixture run isn't good enough. Antonio does score goals and he is the focal point of that West Ham attack. So I could see why you'd want to keep him. And he is staying in my team for maybe the next couple of weeks. But I am considering moving him out. And I think you should consider moving out all your West Ham assets. Maybe just not Antonio for the time being. Next up, we have Wolves. So again, a team that has had some nice fixtures in the past couple of weeks, but it doesn't end now. They continue to have a really nice run of fixtures for game week 9 to game week 14. Leeds, Everton, Crystal Palace, West Ham, Norwich, Burnley. So really nice options, and some of their assets are quite affordable. So at the moment, the players that I'm calling out for you are the 2 forwards in Hwang Hee-chan and Jimenez, and then the defensive option at wing-back of Semedo. Now in defence, you could also go for Marcel playing on the other side, slightly cheaper. Now he's less nailed. There is a Nori who could play there, which is why I would probably go with Semedo. They are okay defensively. The attacking returns that I feel like are so imminent for that Wolves defence always aren't seeming to come, but there is definitely clean sheet potential, and particularly in that game week 11, 13 and 14 matches against Crystal Palace, Norwich and Burnley. But up front, I really think it's worth considering owning them. If you are selling Antonio, Jimenez and Hwang Hee-chan are definitely good options. Hwang much cheaper, going in at sort of 5.6 million, whereas Jimenez is sort of 7.5 million. You can save that 2 million. Jimenez is a sort of focal point. He will play every week, whereas Hwang Hee-chan is a slight rotation risk, whereas Jimenez is nailed each and every week, and on penalties it's just depending on the budget you have. But I really like them. I do think they'll continue to start scoring a few more goals than maybe they have so far this season. The pair of them linking up front has been really nice, and with no midweek commitments, I do think they will continue to start in that Wolves team, and I'm really looking forward to owning one of these Wolves players in my team as well. If you don't know who I've got or who I'm considering getting, do make sure to check out my team selection videos as well. So those are some of the major fixture swings that we've got. Teams going into great runs of fixtures, teams going into bad runs of fixtures as well. If you have enjoyed the video, please do consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. If you have any questions about your team, or if there are any players in this video that you're not sure about, any that you are bringing in, please let me know. I'm always so interested to see which players you are buying or selling in your teams. It helps me with my team, and it helps the thinking of everyone else down below. So do drop it in the comments. I do my best to reply to each and every comment every single game week, so put them in the comments down below. But if you have enjoyed, please do like and subscribe, and I will see you all very soon.